only color I've caught fish on the battalion, which is weird because it's the most craziest looking. You've been with me a couple times. It was like, why does this color work in the other, like, and I'll try other colors, like especially out here where I'm not really kind of carrying it. You can come over here. I'll get out of the way. Your spot, got the best in me. Ever since I was a child. Now it's showing its ugly face. I don't think he's big. What can I do? Here he comes, Tolly. Whoa, here he comes, a little fishy. There's a little fishy, or big fishy, whatever. It's a fishy. It creeps into my dreams.
It's like my fish.
Wakes me into sweaty. See, we use the little fishy to catch the big fishy, Natalia. Oh, that was a cool release. There's the photo right there, too. You think he's 5? Yeah, buddy. Whoa. So I better use my that was crazy. There you go, buddy. Off you go, love. Off you go. Nice. And make a video about it. Yeah?
No.
Oh.
Big blob out.
Oh, good fish. Ever since I was a child. There it is.
Dude, that bait is ridiculous.
What can I do? Music creeps into my dreams. Wakes me into sweaty sheets. It's a good bait. Abandons me when nights die out. What a cool bite. What can I do? What can I do? Woohoo! Yeah! Let's go. Give him a good release. Stop this, get fight. Yeah. Stop this, get fight. You ready for this slide down the wrist? .3. Nice. Oh, fun. Awesome. What the? I got a fish and weeds. No, I was like, I know that was a bite. That tripped me out when I saw the weeds. And right now the fish is like, I have no idea what's happening right now, bro. Poor little guy. Yeah, it's a good one again. Yeah, he is, huh? He thought that was food, but it's not. It's a good fishing day. You. Howdy, lads and lassies. Welcome back to the channel, and happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody went fishing or did something really fun. I hung out with my family the majority of the weekend, had a blast with my wife and my nugs. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my swim bait setup. Now, swim baiting, to me, it's just another form of fishing. I just like fishing, especially for bass. I like bass fishing. Trout fishing's fun when I want to eat them, but it's not really the challenge that I enjoy. I really like bass fishing and kind of got addicted to the big bait thing, but it's not all I do. It's just kind of something I do when I want to find a bite, or sometimes I get in the mood just to throw big swim baits and these huge things. This is actually a small one right here, but I wanted to talk to you guys about my two primary rods that I'm using all the time. Now I have this like custom rod I bought from Swimbait Underground, a guy in the forums there. If you don't know about Swimbait Underground, definitely check them out. There's a ton of knowledge there. There's also a ton of egos there, but 90% of the people I'd say I've met off of there in person are cool. Having said that, I had this rod. It was called the Ratio rod. I didn't really know what it was. It was just some guy made it. It was really cheap. I bought it. And when I bought it, I wanted like the coolest reel possible. So I purchased this Conquest DC. I mean, this thing it just looks so dope. It's this dope round reel. It's a 200 size reel. And it was really awesome on that rod. So awesome, I went out and bought another one as well. And I bought it from Asia Portal, so it came from Japan. They don't sell these here in the United States. It was ridiculously expensive, and I bought a second one, and now I don't use either of them. So if anybody wants to purchase a Conquest DC, one of them in brand new condition, and the other one maybe, you know, a year's worth of use out of it, fishing it maybe once a week or so, but always kept in good working order, they are for sale. But I put this on that rod, and that kind of got me into the craze. The first swim bait I fell in love with was a DRT Tiny Clash. Good luck, get them on eBay. I refuse to pay resale for things. I got one on a Swimbait Underground drop for retail, fished the heck out of it, really enjoyed it. It sits on my wall now. That bait's literally probably caught me at least over 50 fish. And some of the larger fish I've caught were on that. Also, lots of dinks on that, but that was called the DRT Tiny Clash. I don't fish it anymore. Maybe I will again someday. I have the other DRT baits. Again, I just don't really fish them as much. I get in the mood for things, but this is my newest swim bait rod, and by far my favorite swim bait rod so far, even though I kind of don't use it what it's intended for, what it's made for. This is a MVT made by F5 rods. F5 rods. I reached out to all the cool kid companies out there from the underground. I'm not going to name names, but like they're all the ones that all you guys want, and they never have any of them for sale. And I reached out to a couple of them and just kind of asked some very simple questions like, hi, this is what I'm looking to do with this rod. What do you recommend? Some people even claiming to be custom swimbait rod makers, and I was like, cool, custom swimbait rod. Can I do ... They were like, no, you can do black or white. I'm like, that's not a custom swimbait rod. That's two color options. So, and then also conversing with them, it wasn't something I really enjoyed very much. They didn't seem like very friendly or professional people. Maybe I'm just not in the cool kids club. I don't know. That's cool with me because I fish a lot of swim baits and I catch a lot of fish on swim baits. Swim baiting's been really good for me this year in Southern California, and I don't know a ton of people that do it, but the guys I know that do it say I'm having a really good year. I think it's probably because of the time on the water that I put throwing these things, but I have to be in a mood to throw the swim baits. But the F5 guy, back to him, he was awesome. He talked to me on the phone for like a long time and answered all my idiotic questions that I had. And this was the rod that we settled on. It is a 8'6", 4 to 10 ounce moderate fast action. Now, that seems like a huge range, but I actually like throwing
like 3 ounce baits feels better on this than other rods that are in that 2 to 7 ounce range. Again, that might just be me. I'm a big dude and I can throw a bait hard if I want to, but you know, I do tend to like heavier rods just for my style of fishing. It's just what I like. But I like a rod to bend once I have a fish on, which is, I'll tell you about this other rod here in a second. But this F5 rod, the MVT, this thing's amazing. I love the rod. The price is right for sure. And I feel like I can do so much. And there's a couple baits that I'm not going to talk about that I have on order on their way to me. And that's kind of the reason I purchased this rod. Now, I thought those baits would be here sooner, but they're still not here. And there's some baits, I'm not really stressed about it because I want to throw them in the wintertime, but they're a lot bigger and heavier baits up into that 5 to 7 ounce range. So I feel like this rod will be able to throw those. I love how long it is, especially where I fish big kind of open water areas from the shore. Having that extra cast is nice. And I love the length of this gun guy, of this rear handle length. For me as a bigger person feels just really, really great, just being able to launch the bait out there. But I can't say enough cool things about how rad the guy at F5 was. I will always recommend his rods to people. One, because I've enjoyed the rods so much. The way he explained his warranty to me was like big thumbs up there. And the rod just feels great. It feels really high quality. I've caught quite a few fish on it now. I think I've caught, trying to think, at least over 10 fish on it. A couple on video, of which you probably saw there on the Sly Guy when I was fishing the heck out of that Sly Guy. R.I.P. Sly Guy. But this rod just bends really great. You can probably see, I'll play a video right now of me catching like a small little, like 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish on it. And it still had some good bend in it and was parabolic and kept that fish pinned, even though he jumped all the way back to the shore. So great rod. I love it. I paired it with a 13 Fishing Concept 300 reel here. And I bought this reel for the primary reason I bought this reel is because it just looked really cool. It's matte black. The price was right. Everybody was like, you need a 300 reel. And I was like, no, you don't. I'm actually fine. And I'll talk about that on this other rod. But once I put 20-pound Sniper FC fluorocarbon on here, I was running out of line very quickly. So I am glad I went with the 300. This reel feels great. It's really light. I've had no problems with it yet. Again, I've only had it since May. So haven't had it too long. Have caught a good amount of fish on it. It's got tons of drag. It's saltwater rated. So if I ever want to take this stick and go try to catch like, you know, some mahi or yellowtail or something like that, I don't have to worry about my reel being all prissy, like I can't touch the salt water. Like I live next to the ocean, so it's just nice having that. None of my other reels do, but this one does. It's a nice feature for sure. But I love the setup. I can't say enough good things. I'm sure there's better reels out there, and maybe someday I'm kind of a DC nerd. I really like the Shimano DC system, so it'd be cool to have a 300 with a DC and Terex. But I would have to like sell my dog to buy that reel. The reel's just way too expensive, and I don't want to spend that much money on a reel. Even though I don't want to do it again. Maybe if I sell both these Conquests, I would think about it. I have a friend who owns one right now, and he said he'd loan it to me, and I was like, no man, I'm good. Just keep it. Maybe when I get serious about buying one, I'll try it out. But F5, if you guys are looking for a swim bait rod you can purchase right now, that you can actually go buy, like when you want one, or that when you do break the rod and you have to warranty something, like my daughter loves breaking my rods. It's nice to know that I can call the guy and he's going to have rods in stock and he's going to be able to replace that rod. I'm not going to have to sit around and, you know, try to sneakerhead my way into a new rod because everybody says it's cool. So, but I've used quite a few other swim bait rods from different companies like Phoenix rods. I've had a couple of their swim bait rods. I just didn't like them. This rod, I love this rod. And F5 is a company I can definitely get behind. Big fan. The other rod I want to talk about right now, whoops. Well, first off, let's talk about my Johnny Rat. I mean, this is my very first swim bait I ever purchased. I took it to a small urban pond right after I bought it. Literally, like I drove from the shop to that pond, threw this around, and I caught my personal best bass on this bait. I don't throw it very often, but I throw it places where I know I can go get it back if I lose it. But I love this Johnny Rat. Anyway, we're talking right now about the Megabass P5 Tequila Baccarat. I can't say anything negative about this rod. This rod is amazing. The dimension, let's see, what's the specs here? It's a 7 foot, 3/4 to 4 ounce lure rating. And that's true. I've thrown 4 ounce baits on this. I've flipped, 3.5 ounce baits around the pond and such, and caught fish on it. I have flipped with this rod when I didn't have the St. Croix. This used to be my flipping stick. I've thrown A-rigs on it. I've thrown large topwater on it. All my bigger wake baits, like my rats and pretty much the majority of the topwater swim baits, I'm throwing on this thing. And it's kind of it's an amazing one and done. If I could pick one rod to have, if I can only pick 3 rods to have, let's say, this would be one of those 3 rods for sure. And if I could only pick one rod to have for swim baits, it would be this rod, because I can do so much with it. It's not too long. I can kind of, do nice accurate casts. Like I fish around a lot of docks up in Arrowhead, and it's so nice having a 7 foot rod banging the shore with a swim bait. When I do a lot of night fishing with these rats up in Arrowhead, and I kind of have like a 3-step process. I throw winged baits, I throw wake baits, and I throw rats. And those are kind of, depending on the night, those would be the 3 things they're hitting up there. I just walk around with this one rod, and I have it spooled up with 16-pound FC Sniper fluorocarbon. And this is a Scorpion DC 8.5 reel. I used to have the Conquest on here, which it was sick for photos. It was a dope, real just bougie looking setup. Hated fishing with this larger, rounder reel. It just wasn't something I liked, and I went back and I stuck with the Scorpion. I have 2 Scorpion DCs, and I'm just really happy with it on this rod. It just works great. It handles the power. It's got great drag. The drag is really great on it, and it casts a country mile, which is really nice having the DC when throwing these nice expensive swim baits out there. Or if I'm trying to do kind of weird casts from the shore around the Tules and such, where I like to throw these things. This rod will also frog. Great frogging rod. This rod just does it all. And the crazy part about it is it feels real heavy and supports these larger lures when you're casting. But when you catch a fish on it, the rod just bends. I don't know what sort of witchcraft, voodoo, magic, mythical stuff they did to this P5 stuff. Or all these P5 rods. I have a couple of these now. But it's like when you get the fish on, the fish stays pinned. And the rod goes parabolic when you need it to, but I've got the power to horse it out of things. And I couldn't live without this rod. I could not. It might be my favorite rod, honestly. I just feel like I can do this. Of the stuff I like to do, I can do it. I can do the majority of those things with this rod. Sensitivity wise, I don't know. I'm usually throwing moving baits with it the majority of the time. I have flipped with it, but the flip and bite can be a lot of different things. I don't remember, honestly, to tell you right now how sensitive it felt, but that's not always what I'm really using it for. So I can't give you that kind of intel, but if it's like all the other P5s, everybody says they're super sensitive, so it must be. I don't know how you rate sensitivity, but this rod is fantastic. These are my 2 swim bait rods. So you guys saw the videos in the beginning there of me catching some fish with these things, and in the B-roll. I'll try to catch more, but I go in and out of liking to do things. I'm I was on a Swimbait kick there for a while with that Sly Guy Swimbait. That thing broke off because I'm an idiot and I didn't retie it after catching 2 fish with my daughter that you saw in the video there. It was right after that I lost the bait. I told myself to retie it. I went and used the restroom, came back down, and didn't retie. And the very next cast, as I went to cast it, it just popped off. There was no backlash or anything like that. I'm just an idiot, and I didn't retie. And it was really bad frayed up in the line. I'm heartbroken. R.I.P. Sly Guy lure. My Sly Guy Gill. I'm really sad. I really miss that bait. That bait's awesome. I'm so bummed. And they cost way too much money on the open market, and I just don't buy resale. It's just not something I do. So hopefully he'll release it again. If not, I counted today, I caught 11 fish with that lure, and it's been out, what, like 2 weeks? Something like that. So caught a lot of fish on that bait. It was fantastic. I had a ton of confidence in it. I was loving it. I was really hoping it would be kind of like a lifetime bait for me, but it is not. If I could double up on it right now, I would. And maybe if he does another release, I will double up on it and I'll buy 1 or 2 of them. Because I would. It was, for the way I like fishing a bluegill, it was my favorite bluegill I've ever thrown, for sure. So it's gone now. But those are my swim bait setups, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you got to see all the cool, catching fish stuff. Had a blast on the water this last week and caught a lot of great fish when others weren't. And then today, my friends were absolutely on fire. I think one of my buddies caught like 9 fish today, and another caught 7. There was like a tournament going on with an underspin at another local pond we go to. But it was a good time. I threw this depths gill around, didn't get anything, didn't really enjoy fishing the bait. It's cool. I own it. I've caught a couple fish on it now, but it made me miss the Sly Guy even more. So R.I.P. Sly Guy. Like and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, listening to me ramble on about my cool kid swim bait rods that I love so much. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Check out my Amazon store. All proceeds go to Samaritan's Purse. God bless. Have a good day.